when you live your life and conduct your behavior within that space of kindness, compassion, and love, that is what will be returned to you in this world. I personally believe that's what happened to me today. This is a little bit of a different video, but I just wanted to come on here and share an experience that I had today because I'm a little shook by it, to be honest, and I just feel like this is worth sharing because I feel like I've learned something today, and that's the importance of kindness. And I know that sounds like, oh my God, like a video about kindness, but just stick with me because I want to share what happened today. I honestly do feel like I tapped into something today. I tapped into some sort of maybe unwritten rule within the universe, some sort of energy. I don't know how to explain it, but here's what happened. So regular day, I woke up this morning. I normally work from home, but today I had to go into the office. I am an HR professional by trade, and today was one of those days where as an HR professional, you have to have difficult conversations sometimes, and today was one of those days for me for sure. It was a day where I had to go into having a termination meeting with a staff, and those are probably the worst meetings that anyone can have. To have to let somebody know that they're being let go from their job for whatever reason, whether it's restructuring, downsizing, whether it's with cause, doesn't matter. It doesn't make the situation any easier. And so today I had to have one of those conversations, and I was prepared for it, and I was ready for it. I think as an HR professional or a manager, anyone who finds themselves in that situation of having these type of conversations, you do end up like desensitizing yourself a bit to it. I've been in this position, this profession for over 12 years. And so it's definitely not my first meeting that I've had to have. And so, you know, you do what you must to get through these conversations. And sometimes that requires a bit of a coldness, a bit of a removal from the situation so that you can do it, so that you can get through it, do the job that you were hired for. So I had put myself in that place and ready for that. Now, before leaving the house, as I was packing my bag that I currently have for my laptop and all that, I said out loud, I really need a new laptop bag. I would like to really get a new bag for my laptop because the one I have now is old. I've had it for like 4 years. It's starting to break down and it's just really like, you know, bulky. I just said, oh, I'd really love to get a new laptop bag because I think I could really need one. And that was it. I just kind of left it at that. We're going to come back to that at the end of the video because this is all connected. What I'll explain as well is, for some reason, earlier this week, I said to myself, you know, I'd like to find a way to try to help this individual through this transition because this is not an easy thing to go through for anyone. Finding out that you are losing your job, especially if it comes unexpectedly, is a traumatic event, right? And I just wanted to do something to help support this person through this transition after receiving this news. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I could do extra outside of the norm of what I usually do. So I just, again, earlier this week, this wasn't today, I said it out loud. I said, what can I do to help this person transition through this, to help support this person somehow, because it's going to be challenging. What can I do? And almost as soon as I asked this question out loud, the answer came to me, and it was contact your EAP program and see if they can have a counselor on standby that this individual can call right away if they need support, if they need a listening ear, if they need some counseling services. Have somebody ready for them. See if you can do that. This is the answer that came to me, like I said, almost as soon as I asked the question. So I did it. I contacted our EAP program. It offers like a bunch of resources. It's like an extra benefit, extra added program that we have on top of our benefits program for staff, where you can access like financial advice, health and wellness, counseling, mental health services. So it's an extra. And something that they offer are counseling services. So I called and I explained the situation and I asked, and they were able to. With extremely short notice, I will add. So they provided me with a counselor that was going to be made available to this individual for a period of 2 hours following the meeting. And this person was not going to be taking any extra calls or anything. They were literally on standby for this person in case they decided to reach out and wanted some support. And I was kind of shocked by that because I didn't realize, or I had never done that before. But I just kind of followed my intuition, my inner voice, whatever you want to call it. And I had this available. So here comes the meeting today. Go into the meeting, and it was definitely an emotionally charged meeting. This individual was not expecting this news today. It was myself, this individual's manager, and then this individual in the meeting room. And like I explained, like normally I will go into these meetings with a bit of a wall, like kind of cold, a wall set up so that I can get through the meeting and provide the information that I need to provide, because it can often be tough for the managers as well, who are maybe a little bit more emotional. There has to be, or at least I believed that there should be somebody in that room who's a little bit more removed to be able to get through the meeting successfully. And that's usually me, because that's my role. This individual was emotional. There were tears, a lot of confusion, not understanding the why behind all of this. And I first went in the meeting with the wall up, because that's how I cope. And then what ended up breaking down that wall for me is that, so I've taken the time, I've gone through this letter of termination with this individual, provided them with all the information they need. And then at the end of that, this individual turns and hands their manager a gift that I guess they had brought back from a recent vacation. And they said, well, this is for you. And that's all they said. So the manager was taken aback, and it broke down my wall because I wasn't expecting that act of kindness from that individual in a meeting setting like this. Because, honestly, that individual didn't have to still give the gift to the manager. I'm even thinking if it was me, I would have been like, well, forget it. I'm keeping this gift now. I'll find somebody else to give it to. I don't know if I would have moved forward with giving my manager that gift, but this individual chose to still give the gift. And that act of kindness just kind of like melted me a little bit. And I was like, wow, they did not have to do that. And it took me aback. So that was the second act of kindness that happened today. The third was when I was walking this individual back to their office to collect their personal belongings. And the majority, that was done in silence. I asked them if they needed a minute or extra support. They said no, they were fine. But I could see that they were emotionally distraught. I could see it. It was manifesting in them physically. So as I was walking them to the front door to leave, something told me to remind them of the counselor that's available. Just give them a reminder. And so I did. I stopped the individual and I said, can I just provide you with a word of encouragement? And they stopped and they were open to listening. And so I continued. I said, I just want to remind you that you do have a counselor available for you today for 2 hours past this meeting. And I really do encourage you to reach out. It's confidential. They're not taking any other calls today. They're on standby just for you, just to support you. So if you feel like this could be support that would benefit you, I just want to remind you and encourage you to reach out. Because I know how difficult this can be. And they looked at me for maybe 30 seconds, maybe less. But then they said, I think I do need that. I think I will definitely reach out. I need it. And then they said, where's the paper? Where did I put it? And they started looking through the box to find it, realizing they didn't have it. And they said to me, I don't have it. I don't know where I left it. I think I might have left it upstairs in the office where we had our meeting. I don't have it. So I went back upstairs. I found it in the meeting room that we were in, and I brought it back down to them, and they thanked me, and then I wished them the best. I think that's important to mention because for me, taking the minute to remind them of the counselor available was outside of the box for me, was not normal, was not the norm. Normally when I'm doing the walking out, it's in silence. And then at the end, I will say something along the lines of, I wish you all the best. But I don't normally take the extra minute or the extra time to provide any advice or to remind them of services available or anything like that, or to encourage them to seek support. I usually don't get involved in that. But this time, something told me to do that. Something told me to show a little bit more act of kindness and remind this individual about that. And so I did. And had I not done that, they would not have left with the information, with the contact information for this counselor. Meaning, they would have missed it. They would have missed this potential counseling session. And I don't know if they actually are going to take advantage of it. I don't know if they actually contacted the counselor. There's no way for me to follow up and find out. It's completely confidential. But what if they did? Like, they said to me, I need this. I will need to do it. What if I hadn't gone outside my own comfort level to show an extra act of kindness, and I hadn't reminded them, and it's something that they needed, but they wouldn't have been able to access because they forgot the information at the office? And it's not always comfortable. Going outside the box and showing acts of kindness that maybe normally you wouldn't do is not comfortable for the person who is trying to be kind, especially in situations like this, where there's a very high possibility that this individual could have completely shut me down, could have yelled at me, could have wanted nothing to do with me. Who knows? I've been in termination meetings before where people are very high emotional. They've sworn, they've gotten physical, not with me, but have physically thrown things in the room, and they're just not open to kindness in that point in time, especially when you're the one delivering the bad news, right? Why would they want to hear any kindness from you at that point in time? So sometimes the fear, I guess, of like trying to be kind outside of the box, maybe there's a fear that you won't receive it, or the fear of what if it's not received well is what can potentially hold you back from doing that. But sometimes you might actually have the ability to have a positive effect in somebody's life, maybe more than you realize, right? Maybe that one act of kindness is what that person needed that day. Like, you just never know. So I'm hoping that it helped. I know for sure it has helped me in the long run, because even though it's my profession, I'm trained to do that, it doesn't take the human out of it, right? It's still a very difficult situation to go through. And it doesn't make it easy. And it's one of those professions, human resources is one of those professions where, you know, you take things home with you at the end of the day. Especially if you know that something you have done or said, like your action has caused hurt or harmed others in some way, you take that home, and it's not always easy to kind of shed off of you at the end of the day. But with today, I am happy that I tried to do what I could to try to ease this news and ease this transition. I'm not saying that it has. I don't know if it helped at all. But I tried. And I feel like I tried and did the most that I could in this situation. And so that has helped me as well. And I think that's going to be something that I'm going to incorporate, making sure that I have some sort of support available for the individual that they can tap into afterwards. Now, coming back to the laptop bag. So you remember at the beginning of the video, I had just randomly said I would really love a new laptop bag because mine's worn down. So here I am at the end of the meeting. At this point, I continued working in my office for about an hour. Coworker comes in, who's also a friend of mine at work. She's holding a company laptop bag. A company, I'll show it to you. She's holding this. I'm not going to show you the logo, but she's holding this laptop bag. And some different compartments here. So she walks into my office with this. And she says, April, would you like a new laptop bag? Is this something that you think you could use? And I just stopped. And I'm looking at her. And I said, is that a company laptop bag? She's like, yeah. She's like, we got them made as gifts for our board members, and we have a couple extra on hand. And I thought I'd just come to you and see if it's something that you think you might like or could have use for. I couldn't believe it for a minute. And she probably thought I was in, like, maybe something was wrong with me, because I literally went into like a little state of shock. And I said, really? I said, you're really bringing me a laptop bag right now? And she's like, yeah. And I said, I know you don't understand this, but I literally, before leaving the house today, I literally said out loud how much I could really use a new laptop bag. I'm getting goosebumps just kind of thinking of it, to be honest with you. And I said, and now you're here giving me a laptop bag? I said, I would be so grateful. I would love it. I'm so grateful right now. Thank you. Like, I was just so over the moon, like, thankful and grateful. I was like, yes, please. And she's like, okay, well, you're welcome. Here's the thing, and I could be wrong, you know, it could just be a simple coincidence, but I don't believe it is. There's everything in my being is telling me that it is all about kindness. It is all about working within a space of compassion and as much love as you can put out there. And when you work yourself in that space, when you live your life and conduct your behavior within that space of kindness, compassion, and love, that is what will be returned to you in this world. I personally believe that's what happened to me today. It's speeding up a little bit here, so I'm sorry if it's going to be bumpy. So maybe I'll just end the video, but the whole purpose, what I wanted to share, is just a reminder to remember to be kind and remember that your actions matter. And as much as you can, I would strongly say that there's always a way to add some level of compassion into something that you're doing, even if it's the worst case scenario, even when you know that whatever you're about to do is going to, if you know it's going to, has the potential to cause harm, find a way to minimize that. Find a way to still bring the humanity back into it, kindness and compassion into it as much as you can. Because I honestly feel that today, the universe taught me a lesson. What you put out in the universe, you will receive. And that's my message for today. That was my experience. That's what I wanted to share. Let me know in the comments, if you've ever experienced anything similar, if you've had your own kind of experience like this, or whatever you want to share. If you have your own thoughts on this, I want to hear from you. I would really love to know. So please share that with me. Thank you for just taking this time to listen and allowing me to share my experience. That's it. I will be back with update videos on my health and wellness journey as well, because I do have some pretty great updates to share. So that is to come. But for today, thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.